You can't write a headline like this.
A shocking theft.
There you go.
I never saw something so brazen.
This is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
Leads to a hunt for an unusual kind of kidnapper.
I was like, that's my shark, and I'm bringing her home.
Business with exotic animals is thriving.
And coming up later, a jaw-dropping getaway.
A unique way to escape prison.
One of the most audacious escapes in contemporary history.
Sets off a massive manhunt.
I thought the guy was dead.
This story is, to its core, pretty ridiculous.
July 28, 2018 starts out like any other hot summer day in South Texas. People flock to the San Antonio Aquarium to beat the heat. It's home to over 8,000 living aquatic species. Everything seems normal until security cameras capture a truly brazen and bizarre crime.
You can't write a headline like this.
Everyone's out there having a great time looking at the exhibits, and then we see something strange occur.
Two men and a woman with a stroller enter the facility, and the cameras are rolling.
So we have a woman with a baby, we have a guy who's leaning into a fish tank, and now we have a third guy who's with them, kind of in the background. So nothing seems to be really off initially, but it turns out they had something else in mind other than looking at the fish.
Shortly after 2 p.m., the man standing by the tank makes a shocking move.
So now we see this guy, and his shirt's wet, and it looks like he's kind of coddling something. And then we have this other guy who is following behind him.
The two men return, and now one of them has something wrapped in a wet, dripping blanket.
What's in that blanket that this guy has?
Whatever it is, the men gingerly place it into the stroller, disguising it as a baby. And then the threesome suddenly hightail it towards the nearest exit. And that's not all. To distract attention from what they're doing, they also cleverly create a disruptive diversion with bleach.
They took our bleach bucket and dumped it into the other exhibit into the system. So we had to react very, very fast.
Now, the animals in the aquarium are in imminent danger.
I was giving instructions to my marine staff as to what to do with the exhibit that just had chemicals poured into it.
Some of the staff race to the parking lot, while others quickly scramble to pull the aquarium's surveillance footage to see if they can figure out what was taken from the tank.
There you go.
Instantly, we knew it was a horn shark because we go in there and we're like, that's Helen. Like, he took Helen.
The staff is shocked when they realize it's their beloved Miss Helen. She's a juvenile female horn shark, a species native to Western North America.
What made Miss Helen so special was she was our only horn shark.
They are furious and stunned at the audacity of these brazen thieves.
They just waited for an opportune time and they scooped up Helen and put her in the stroller.
With the aquarium in chaos and the suspects on the move, an urgent call goes out to the Leon Valley Police Department.
The employees called us and said that they had had a shark that was stolen. The funny part was it was Shark Week, and I thought they were messing with me.
Police are wondering, is this real? Did someone actually kidnap a shark?
I mean, first of all, when you call, hey, somebody stole my shark, you know, stole what? stole our shark. It was such an odd case for them.
Many people don't realize that there's a large black market for exotic animals being trafficked within the United States. And business lately with exotic animals is thriving.
As police race to the aquarium, the trio of suspects make it outside to the parking lot, where more cameras are waiting, and so are aquarium staff.
They were confronted by an employee that saw them get dripping. She confronted them, tried to talk to them.
I asked him if he would allow me to search his car, that we had suspicions that something was stolen and that we needed to search it. And he said no. He said he needed to take his baby to the doctor immediately and that he had spilled a cup of water in his stroller, which is why it was leaking.
Jenny is certain the man is lying, but they can't prove what's hidden in the stroller is actually a shark. And what if it really is a child?
We can't take a stroller and a child. We were in a very compromised situation.
He's a big guy. I didn't want to physically challenge that or anything, so we did write down his license plate and let them go.
So the thieves race out of the parking lot, but the aquarium employees are already on the move.
I immediately called the Leon Valley Police Department and reported their license plate number.
Why would anyone want to kidnap a shark?
When I actually saw the video, I was just completely in shock. He reached in with his hands and pulled it out.
In the surveillance, you can literally see them scoop up the animal. And you would think, okay, normally catching a shark is not that easy. However, we're an interactive facility. So as guests do come through the door, they are able to touch animals with 2 fingers on the back. We train them for desensitization, so they're very much used to being handled.
The daring crime shocks everyone.
I mean, I've been a policeman a long time. I never saw something so brazen and really so stupid for somebody to do something like that. You'd think they were some young kids or something like that, but no, they were middle-aged Americans.
Police traced the license plate to the home of Anthony Shannon.
He wasn't the one who actually physically stolen the shark, but he was the driver of the vehicle, and he'd been arrested multiple times. He was an animal enthusiast.
It was my thought that it was a hobbyist aquarium owner that took her. So I was worried she went from the shock of being in our tank into, I believe she was wrapped in a towel, something to keep her moist. And that shock alone can kill a fish. Just the change in temperatures, not having water for a little bit, and then being put in whatever area that she was put into could kill her. So I really didn't have hope that we would find her alive.
And when they open his garage, they are stunned at what they find inside.
We went into his garage to recover the shark, and it was beautiful inside. It was almost like the aquarium itself.
He actually had a whole setup for aquatics, and he had various other fish species in there. He was in a saltwater system with other saltwater fish. He had knowledge about saltwater. He had knowledge about life support systems.
I can't remember how many hundreds of gallons his main tank was, but it was huge.
Anthony Shannon and his 2 companions are arrested and charged with theft. And less than 72 hours after the heist, police summoned Jamie to the garage to make sure the shark they found is indeed the aquarium's precious Miss Helen.
Okay, you're positive?
Positive. And when I catch her, I'll show you that she's a female.
Okay, very well.
So, males will have claspers hanging up from the bottom. She clearly does not have any sort of claspers.
Okay, you're 100%. You're identifying that shark?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
I loved that shark, and I could definitely ID her and certain characteristics that she had and things like that. I was like, that's my shark, and I'm bringing her home.
And as it turns out, Miss Helen isn't the only seemingly cold-blooded creature Jamie is able to identify. She realizes she knows one of the suspects.
This gentleman, I could recognize him straight off the bat because he had previously reached out to me to test my water, trying to impersonate a salt company called Instant Ocean. And he did come here at one point in time to meet me in person. And from the get-go, it just seemed something was very odd and just out of place. And so that's why I could easily identify him.
It seems Anthony Shannon had been casing out the aquarium for weeks in his attempt to pull off the perfect shark heist.
Well, they did a lot of planning. What they didn't take into account and what they should have taken into account was the fact that there was video cameras and there was people there. And at the end of the day, crime doesn't pay, and you're eventually going to get caught no matter how well you think you've done in planning. Your day's going to come.
Today, Miss Helen swims free once again in the aquarium. And now, she's a local hero.
She became very, very popular, and we didn't want anybody trying to take her again. So we now have more horn sharks. She is in a camouflage of other horn sharks.
And it's a reminder to everyone just how valuable exotic animals have become.
This is one of the strangest stories that I've heard in my many years in law enforcement. The illegal trading of exotic animals happens more than one might think. You might not know what your neighbor has in their house.